Alright guys, you know T-Girls can do anything, and one thing we're going to do today is take advantage of our holiday that we have. And I'm going to do something I haven't done on the channel in like 5 or 6 months, and that's get out and do some metal detecting today. I got my beautiful White's XLT. It's one of the top of the line White's units, and with this thing over the last 15 years I've pulled up gold, silver, even whole automobiles on the back 40 here. There were 2 buried Studebakers down there. Had them metal detected, not too hard to find them, and pulled out of the ground. But we're going to have some fun today. We're going to see if we can get out there chooching. You can see I'm dressed with all my gear on to scare all the metal out of the ground. So let's get out there and let's get rolling. T-Girls can do anything. Alright guys, listen, if you're going to be a good metal detector, there's a couple things you got to know about doing it the right way, okay? First and foremost, don't go out and fucking dig up your neighbor's yard and just roll over there and start digging holes, right? Your neighbor's gonna kick your ass. All right, that's just the reality of it. Nobody likes, you know, you tell, oh, you know, I'll put it back as good as new and stuff. You know, people have an aversion to metal detecting in general. And if you're going to be a metal detector, you're almost subscribing to the code of ethics, which means you leave any place better than you found it when you go out and dig. Okay, so that's number one. Number two, wear sunscreen. It gets hot as hell out here in the sun. You burn up, right? You're so busy focusing and chooching around with that detector, you get a hell of a burn. Wear a hat, like I got my Nike hat on today. Number three, if you're going to be at metal detecting, understand where in the hell you're going, okay? If you're going to go to a school ground that was built in 2011, 2012, you ain't going to get anything valuable. You might get a couple bottle caps, you might get some loose change that was on the ground, but are you going to find anything worthwhile? Nah. You got to go to where the ages of stuff. You got to go to old city parks. You've got to go to old schools that were built before 1965. Neighborhoods that were built before 1965. Why do I say that? Because in 1964, the United States used to have 90% silver quarters, dimes, half dollars, and then 1965, instead of something valuable, they gave you copper and nickel and shit and called it money, right? It stopped having value. It became fiat money. It just stood for something, the good faith and credit. Well, anyway, I'm not here to politically bullshit. I'm here to tell you, you know, when you're metal detecting, you got to know what the hell you're doing, and you got to know where you're going. So find old neighborhoods that predate the 1960s, hopefully, and you got a better chance of digging up something worthwhile. Remember, don't go digging up people's lawn, but between their front sidewalk and the front street, there's usually called some type of strip or something like that, and they're called tree wells, where they plant trees and stuff, usually city maintained. You're perfectly allowed to dig in those areas, just don't be a slob. Alright, that's the key. So we're going to roll over here today. We're around Railroad Square, and we're going to chooch around a little bit and see if we can find some old park areas or some older areas. Do a little digging and see what we find, okay? Alright, stick with the program. Metal detecting, T-Girls can do anything. Okay guys, we're down here by the railroad tracks in Railroad Square. And you can see some of the old warehouses over there. But the thing that makes this a nice area, there's not a lot of grass around. I mean, there's sidewalks, but not a ton of grass. But if you look over here, you see like a center plot, a triangle between a couple roads here. And that it's a public property there. And probably a lot of people have passed over that area over the years. So we're going to start there today and see what we get. Remember, metal detecting requires a lot of patience, and you got to dig a lot of you got to dig a lot of junk in life. So, you know, if you're out there and you're thinking you're going to strike it rich, generally, if you work it out, it's about $1 an hour until you pull something out like a gold ring or something like that. And all of a sudden, it's really worthwhile. All right, let's get on with the program. Okay, guys, as we sweep along with the White's metal detector, we got our first good signal there. And it's registering at 85.86, which indicates a quarter, and you can see the 25 cents. So we'll zero in on that. And this tells you it's about 1 inch from the surface. So with our probe, we should be able to just probe that right out. And there she blows, guys. There she blows. There's our first coin. It's weathered a little bit. It's definitely it's a New York quarter, one of the state quarters there. So it's not particularly valuable, but it is worth a quarter, and it gets us off on the start today. Okay, I was shooting around the same area here, and remember, guys, if you find a coin, don't ever assume there's just one. Make sure you sweep around the area, because there was a nickel. It was near the quarter. So we've been out here about 2 minutes, and we're already 30 cents ahead of the game. You know, that's the fun of metal detecting. You never know what you're gonna get. All right, guys, there's our next find, buried just about 1 inch below the surface. We got our another quarter. So that that looks like it's not going. Looks like about an 1986 or something like that. But 55 cents is more than we came with so far. So we'll just we'll keep digging away and put that away. Tell you a couple other things too. You know, when you're metal detecting, and pardon me, you don't want to be all dolled up out of here. You don't want to be drawing a lot of attention to yourself and everything. So I make sure I get the FGP1 Corsair fighting shirts of the Pacific Theater on. I wear that. Keeps the definitely keeps the guys from hitting on me, and it gives me a nice, comfortable afternoon. Because you know, when you're metal detecting, you get a real thick skin. I always joked to my therapist counselor years ago that I was a metal detector, and she said, "Why would you do that?" I said, "You get a really thick skin when you're out there in public, chooching around with a metal detector, and everybody's coming up and talking to you all the time." Okay, good training, girls. Okay, we're going to finish up with our first sight, and I would say this rates is a pretty typical metal detecting experience. You have stuff like bottle caps, some unidentified, looks like part of a bead or something, I don't know, junk. Then you get these things called hot rocks. They just look like rocks, but they're very heavy. I don't know whether it's, you know, what's on it, but there's something that sends off the metal detector. And you got part of a car, and there's what was obviously a paintbrush and a pull tab, and then you have a long nail, and then 55 cents. So I'd rate that a pretty typical. So let's roll around as we see if we see another site. We can do a little digging. Alright, guys, we're rolling on to our second site here in the Olive Tree neighborhood, and you can tell by the houses around, well, you can't see too well here, but we're talking about the 1890s to 1930s for some of these homes. So it's perfect for our purposes. If we're going to find something old, this would be the kind of neighborhood to find it in. So let's unpack and give her a whirl. Okay, we just started about 10 seconds ago, and we already dug something out here. And this thing is really, I don't know what it is. It's going to take a while to clean that up to see if that's anything decent, but it does have a chunk at the end of it, so whatever it is, not going to be terribly valuable. Alright, we got a good strong signal again. So it looks like a quarter. It's just about a ½ inch below the surface, so let's go down here and just probe around a little bit. there. So a lot of times, most of the stuff I find tends to be on the surface. So that's Ohio, I guess Perry's Lookout there. So okay, we're 80 cents up. Let's keep rolling. Alright guys, woo, getting hot out here, getting on about 2 o'clock in the afternoon. Time to call it a day. The old neighborhood yielded a lot of stuff, but not much of real value going up and down there. You know, I was very careful to cover the holes and everything. But you can see the tail of today's take. We have 4 quarters here. We didn't get any silver wings for sure. We got 4 nickels here. And we got a 19, I don't know what year that is. That's a 64, nothing super old in there, in the nickels. And we got 2 dimes, and we got 13 cents, and I have no idea. This is some kind of coin. I just haven't made it yet what it is. It's either that or a token, something like that. We got $1.20, 30, 40, 53 today. So they always say metal detecting pays, but there's no guarantee it ever pays very much. But I'll tell you what, for 2.5 hours out in the sunshine, fresh air, little change of pace for the weekend, Memorial Day, actually Labor Day weekend, a day to honor the labor, and I work pretty hard, so it's kind of fun to come out and dick off a little bit, do a little coin detecting, metal detecting, and have a little bit of fun. Thanks for being along today.